The AMG C43 and C63 are downright impressive, and we're going to take a full detailed look at the exterior, the interior, get it out on the road for a test drive, and I'll tell you those impressive specs in a little bit. All right, y'all, let's take a look at the exterior details of this C-Class AMG. Now, this is the C43. As you heard, there is also the C63 with even more power and a lot more expensive. If you want to see more about the C-Class, I also reviewed the C300 Pinnacle and have a night review of that one, so be sure to check that out. This particular model has two AMG night packages, so you've got some blacked out accents, you've got a little bit of a different front end here with the AMG model. I think everything looks very nice, it looks sleek and sharp. It was redesigned for 2023. I'll talk about one change on the inside for 2024. LED turn signals, LED headlights, but we don't have the adaptive function on this model. And this paint color is called Starling Blue Metallic. I think it looks nice. I think blue on Mercedes always looks good, especially paired with these 20-inch AMG wheels. It's got that split spoke design. You've got some upgraded brake calipers. Everything looks pretty nice. Dimensionally, this is in the mid-size range, kind of middle of the road for Mercedes here too. Plus, we've got 187 inches of overall dimension, and the suspension is actually an adjustable damping suspension. You've got the AMG ride control. I'll show you some of that on the inside here. And then we also even have rear axle steering, so you can get a little bit of turn on those rear wheels, but not quite as much as we've seen on some other Mercedes models, at least from what I can tell. LED taillights, of course, those look pretty nice, and they even have a little dimension to them. Again, I have a night review of the C300 if you want to check that out. And check out this quad exhaust down here, all blacked out. All right, let's take a look under the trunk. Now check this out. This one does actually have the hands-free liftback, or the hands-free trunk, which is nice. So you got that motion activated, and when you press that button, this thing closes in a second. This is kind of a small trunk. It's about 12.5 cubic feet, which isn't a great number, but to me, honestly, it looks bigger and accommodates things better than what those numbers suggest. That's a big backpack. I mean, there's still a good amount of space in here. You've got these nets on each side. You've got these built-in hooks, which is great to hold a bag or groceries or something like that. You have fixed tie downs. You even have another hook over here. You can press that and lower the seat down, which is also really nice. Under here, there's no spare tire. Unfortunately, there should be spare tires on all vehicles, but you've got some extra storage down here, which is a plus too. Now, our key fob, typical Mercedes right here. Everything looks pretty sharp. You've got the glossy black, got this metal trim here, and the AMG on the back. There is no remote start on the key fob, unfortunately. You can do it with your phone in an app, but you've got this little button right here, or this indentation to lock it. We've got the available power folding mirrors, and sensor in the back to unlock it. And these seats are pretty comfortable. So these are, you got the black leather interior right here, and we've got this stitching. Everything looks pretty nice. They've got good bolsters on the side, so when you get aggressive driving in here, it's going to hold you in place. Same thing down here on the bottom. Then down here, you're going to get your four-way lumbar support. And over here, you're going to get the rest of them, your height, your tilt, your recline, all of that. Plus, we got 3-position memory settings, and heated seats are standard. No ventilated seats on this particular model. The steering wheel is also pretty darn nice. You've got Alcantara, or like a micro suede right here, paired with leather. It's the AMG flat bottom wheel. It is power adjustable, up and down, tilt and telescoping too. So this is pretty nice. It is also not heated, which is something that you can get as an option, but it's not standard. And like I said, overall comfort of these front seats, they are good, and they hold you in place so well. I've got no complaints with these seats, except I feel like at this price, you're paying the extra money for the AMG. Just get me the heated steering wheel and the ventilated seats, but I get it. Now climbing into the back here, you're gonna get nice material right here. You've got a decently soft armrest, a good grab handle, and a decent sized bottle holder. The back seat actually has this nice look to it. So it looks kind of like little bucket seats back here in a sense. It's not just a flat bench type seat. So it looks pretty nice. As you know, the C-Class isn't going to give you the most amount of legroom of all vehicles, but it's not bad. It's certainly doable. I've got enough foot space. I've got enough knee space here. That's where I like to sit at 5'9", so this is where the seat is for me. We've got air conditioning vents back here, but to my surprise, there's no charging ports standard on here. You get a little storage area and a little storage area down below as well. I'm just surprised there's no charging ports in a C-Class, especially $70,000. In the middle here, we've got this fold down armrest. You've got good padding right here. Pop that out. You can stash your phone right there. Pop it out again. You got cup holders. Now, with my hat on or without my hat, my head is touching. Kind of a bummer. Not great headroom. And again, I'm 5'9". But one nice thing is you got this optional dual pane sunroof. So the back passengers get their own little roof to look out. Now, let's go ahead and start it up. Foot on the brake, push button start. And you've got the sound of a 4-cylinder starting up. So the door over here, you've got a pretty soft armrest, though it's really small. Same thing with this area up here. This is a softer material, and you've got a little storage bin right there. As per usual, you got your headlight controls in here, and this is your rear fog light, which I had on earlier, an electronic parking brake there. Now your shifter is still right here from Mercedes. If you want to use the automatic brake hold, all you got to do is press down a little more firm on the brake and it will say hold right there. So Mercedes doesn't have a button to push, you just press harder on the brake. And the steering wheel here is with the same kind of touch sensitive controls. I don't love the gap and the separation and distance of all of these controls. You also have your customizable driving settings right there. We'll go through some of that in the test drive. Your actual drive mode control is over here. I love having those on the steering wheel, quick and easy to access, but I'm still not a huge fan of the actual steering wheel controls. We've got paddle shifters up there too. We'll give those a whirl. Then we've got this display, large digital display. This looks just like all the other Mercedes that we've seen recently because you've got different views that you can see on here. So depending on what your attitude is, what your drive mode is, you can scroll through different information still like you can on the main screen and even get your map. Me personally, I kind of like seeing these clusters, so I just keep it on this, but you can still go through different information here. Unlike some Mercedes, you can't control what each cluster shows. It's just this middle section. There's no head-up display on this particular model either. Maybe you were expecting that, maybe you weren't. Thought I'd mention it. And then we've got almost a 12-inch screen right here. This screen looks nice. I like the angle that it's at for the most part. I don't have too much for glare issues. Your auto stop start button is right below your start, so you can start it up, turn the auto start stop off, and you're good to go. Then this display right here. So I'm in the climate menu right now. This is the regular menu system and menu setup right here. So there's a lot that you can customize, especially if you go into your settings. Mercedes gives you different categories. There's different things you can see and do on here. We've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that are wireless as well, which is also nice. The one thing though, so 2023 models don't have it, but 2024 models give you a standard wireless charger. We also have the USB-C charging port right there. So something to keep in mind, 2023 versus 2024, wireless charging is now standard. You can get upgraded Burmester audio systems in here, but this one actually does not have it, to my surprise. Dual zone climate control, everything is integrated right there. So it's large enough and a big part of the screen that you can control things pretty well. You can expand the climate menu a little bit on here too. You can even tell Mercedes what you want to do. See, she's always listening. Down here, you've got AMG. You can quickly press that to get into your drive mode controls. And then you can customize your modes here too. So like comfort, this is where everything is set up. You can change the way that goes, and we'll go through that in the test drive. We also have the active park assist. So check it out. We've got a camera, but we can also use this to help us park. Go up here to parking assist. And when you're driving, you'll be able to see parking spots parallel and perpendicular. Let me sling us into reverse. I had no idea there was somebody behind me, but we've got a 360 camera. We've got movable lines. Everything works pretty well. Mercedes gives you driver profiles too, and you can even have your own customizable one accessed through your fingerprint right there, which is pretty cool. Volume slider over here. This can be moved to cover everything up, or you can keep it back. I showed you where the wireless charging mat goes, the USB-C port, extra little storage right here. And this is pretty typical Mercedes. I like the fact that you have these kind of neat cup holders to where if you don't need a larger cup holder, you can knock it out of the way. You can pop it back up. You can even take this whole thing out of here if you want. Open up this armrest. It's a split fold. It's nice and soft. And it even comes with a little bit of money inside. You've got a USB-C charging port, 2 USB-C charging ports right there, even though it's pretty shallow. Mercedes gives us a locking glove box. It's always good to see. Soft opening and kind of a 2-tiered storage setup. Right overhead, automatic dimming rearview mirror. It is the frameless variety, so you've got these sections that don't get dimming, and I get blinded a lot in this car for some reason. Right up overhead, this slider is for your dual pane roof, which you saw. Plus, we've got our light controls here. I honestly like the way Mercedes does their lighting. I think it looks and works pretty nice on the interior. And you can even maybe see a little bit of light right there. We have Mercedes ambient light system. So let me go to the setting. Mercedes ambient light is fantastic. Be sure to check out my night review of the C300, but you've got a ton of different things you can do. You can turn it completely off if you don't like it, but it looks really nice if you want to have different colors or different brightnesses. Pop this visor down, pull it out, good to go. Now under the hood, when you hear AMG, you might think a 6-cylinder, an 8-cylinder, something insanely big or powerful. This is insanely small, but also insanely powerful, especially the C63. So under the hood of this particular model, of course, you're gonna get a handcrafted AMG 2-liter 4-cylinder with hybrid assist. Yes, it is just 2.0 liters right here, but let me tell you, when we get this out on the road, it's pretty impressive. Specs are 402 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, which is quite a bit more over the non-AMG model, paired with the AMG multi-clutch 9-speed and their all-wheel drive 4MATIC system. Obviously, MPG is not a priority with cars like this, but it gets 22 MPG combined. Now those are the specs for the C43. The C63 also gets a 2-liter 4-cylinder, but 671 horsepower. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this C43. And I gotta say, my first impression, you know, when I got in here, I know the specs, I know it's got a 4-cylinder, and I was like, this just doesn't feel or sound like an AMG should. You know, well, some AMGs, they don't sound like this, and it's just bananas. But despite the way that this kind of feels like a 4-cylinder, sounds like a 4-cylinder, just gives you that impression, is a turn off right away. But once you start putting that pedal down and start taking corners, I gotta tell you, this car is so fun to drive, and it is a monster. And this isn't even the C63. That C63 is outrageous with how many horsepower it has out of a 2-liter 4-cylinder. One thing to note, this has the optional driver assist package. We've got adaptive cruise control. It's even got your own lane changing system where you can hit the signal and this baby's going to change the lane for you if you want it to. It also has the AMG sound performance as an option. So we'll see what it sounds like once we get moving and get on it. You'll be able to hear that. We'll change the drive modes in here. Before we do that, impressions of the interior. It's easy to operate in here. It is comfortable. I've got no complaints with these seats. The auto stop start system is insanely aggressive. If you're going like 5 miles an hour slowing down with your brake, it's gonna shut the car off. It's really annoying, honestly. So I shut it off quite a bit. Something to keep in mind. But overall, I complained a little bit about the steering wheel controls. Very minor. They work fine. I do love how you can actually control that screen over there with the steering wheel. So you don't even have to reach over and touch it, but you can. I mean, everything's still pretty simple and easy to operate and use in here and comfortable. One other thing I want to mention real quick is that these rear view mirrors, or the side mirrors, excuse me, don't go up very high. I can't tilt the glass up high enough to see where I want to see. That's a problem, but it's time to drive. So we're just in comfort mode, which is like the normal mode. Get on it here in a second. See how the 9-speed does, a little pedal. It's an absolute rocket. That wasn't floored, that's just partial pedal. The engine and transmission are both so responsive. And like I said, we are in comfort mode, and this is a stiff ride. This C-Class, C-AMG, is stiff. So something to keep in mind. If you want to daily drive it and you want the Mercedes comfortable kind of ride, this isn't going to deliver that. It's not terrible. I personally don't mind it, but if you have a family or if you just want something smooth and flowy, this ain't it. A little pedal again. I mean, it gets you going in no time. You've got the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, so you've got good traction on here as well. And the suspension is adaptable depending on your drive mode. So let me switch here. I'm in sport mode now. So the suspension goes from comfort to sport. Everything goes from basically comfort to sport. And pedal down. Oh my goodness. The sound Mercedes gives you when it upshifts is absolutely insane. It's intoxicating. It sounds amazing. Even though this is that 4-cylinder, just that upshift is fantastic. Why don't we do Sport Plus? Puts us in dynamic for the drive, Sport Plus for suspension, and Pro for the AMG dynamics. Little pedal. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Even some pops. All right, let's use these paddles. 1 second. Oh my goodness. So fun. I'm telling you, if you write this car off because it has a 2-liter 4-cylinder, you are missing out. It's outrageous. Now I'm gonna put us back in comfort mode and see how the paddles do. A little bit more delayed with the downshift. But you still get some, you know, kind of visceral, loud sound in here when you're in comfort mode still. Now, sport mode. The transmission has been so spot on. There are some times where it feels a little bit clunky, kind of to be expected. It's the 9-speed multi-clutch transmission, but for the most part, it is quick, responsive, and just hammers down when it's ready to go. One thing to note is that with Mercedes, again, you might expect a quiet ride. I've mentioned that it's not a soft or a smooth, comfortable ride. It's not really a quiet ride either. You get quite a bit of road noise in here, and I'm sure that's partly due to the tires and the fact that we've got a stiffer suspension, but just thought I'd mention it. One more pedal. Sounds pretty great, huh? And it's just so fun. This is fun. But if I'm gonna get something with performance from Mercedes, I don't think it's gonna be this little 2-liter 4-cylinder, even though the numbers are insanely impressive, especially on that C63. That's just me. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, but I really had a fun time driving this car, even though I feel like it should have a little bit more for the price. Its performance is insane. So would you take the AMG C-Class like the C43 or the C63 if you're looking for a performance sedan? Because let me tell you, it is so fun. But leave your comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.